Hello and welcome to my Let's Play Civilization 5 quick tutorial series. In this video I go quickly through every single civilization and explain which civilization is good and strong, powerful to play, and why others are not so good. So we will just go in order from top to bottom, and this video will cover all of them. Okay, first we have Morocco. Morocco is okayish, is decent, not super strong, not super weak. The Kasbah is pretty good if you have a lot of desert hills. You can build it on them. It gets a desert start, so you get the chance for a good desert pantheon and maybe a Petra. On the other hand, if you play on higher difficulty and like Arabia or other desert nations, Egypt or so, are in the game, chances are you fail. The trade route ability is okay, it gives you a little bit of money and culture, but usually you want your trade routes internal to feed your capital, so it's not so relevant. The Berber cavalry is really good cavalry, but you will rarely use cavalry, so it's not the greatest save. The Kasbah is most probably the best, especially if you get a Petra, then it's actually really good. Alexander of Greece is actually a very powerful save. If city-state influence degrades at half and recovers twice as normal, this means you can keep alliances with city-states much longer, and if you also go into patronage, you nearly do not decay the influence at all. You can just stay for them nearly forever with friends. That's really good. And the units, I rarely use the companion cavalry because I rarely use horsemen against the AI. They just come so early, and at that point I usually don't need horse units in battle. They are usually for capturing a city out of its shoot range, so not so important. But the hoplite is actually really strong spearman, and sometimes you're lucky and your warrior gets a ruin and is upgraded into this hoplite. That can help you early on quite a lot. Also, if you want to have very early war, you can actually use several of these hoplites quite in a decent way. So it's a pretty good civilization. Assyria is pretty bad. They get a free tech when they conquer a city, and the free tech must be a tech that the former owner of the city knows and you do not. And if he knows several techs that you don't know, it's random. So for example, you can get a tech you would have anyway just 1 or 2 turns, pretty useless. Maybe you're lucky and you get one you would need 8 turns or something like that, but the chances are small. So, and also it requires you to actually go to war with someone who has a better tech than you and win that war. That's so not relevant. The library, the special library, it has just a great writing slot, which is okay, but great writing slots are usually not that difficult to acquire, since an amphitheater has one too. And it gives extra XP to train units if you have actually that writing slot filled. So it can come in handy, but it is usually not relevant at all. The siege tower is really good. That's the only thing why you should play Assyria, because it can attack cities with a huge power. It cannot attack other units, but attacking cities alone is really good. It can take cities, not just like Trebuchet. Shoot at cities, it can also take them. And it is tougher than a catapult or something like that. Also, the ability it gives... yeah, when next to an enemy city, other units within 2 tiles of this siege tower get 50% bonus attacking the city. So a bunch of composite bows or crossbows together with 2 or 3 siege towers will actually take down cities really damn quickly. So if you plan on conquering the world, Assyria is not bad, otherwise it's pretty useless. Askia of Songhai is also not that great. The cavalry gets benefits that really do not matter, and the ability more gold from barbarian encampments and pillage and taking cities is nice. The barbarian encampment gold can be useful, but is it really relevant? Not much. and more strength when embarked usually also does not matter at all. The mud pyramid is really nice though, because it's 2 free culture for every temple. That's actually nice. But the rest of it is pretty garbage. Attila, a damn strong civilization when you plan on military advance. The horse archer is one of the best units in the game, because you can move into the enemy with several of these from far away, shoot at stuff, and next turn move again. When they are damaged, you can easily move out. And strength 10 this early is actually really good. They're stronger than archers, but available so damn early. And the fun fact, it doesn't need horses. It does not require horses. It is a horse archer that replaces the chariot archer, and it doesn't require horses, so we can spam them out ridiculously. And the battering ram, just like the siege tower, is great to take cities. It has plus 300% attack bonus against cities, so it is a 30 power unit against cities this early on. That is incredible to take down cities. So a few horse archers to kill enemy units, and then 2 or 3 battering rams to finish the city off. Really good to take. Also, race cities doesn't matter, city names, blah blah, but start with animal husbandry technology. This means you're already 8 turns in tech ahead at the beginning, because you have 1 tech already researched. That is really good. And you get +1 production per pastures. Sometimes I had cities that have like 5 or even 7 or 8 pastures. This means between 5 and 8 more production for that city. Of course, sometimes you have just like 1 horse and maybe 1 sheep. It's only 2 production. But still, it's free production you get, because pastures, that's sheep, horse, and cow. And these are tiles I usually love to work, because they give food and production, which is the most important, especially early on. Really powerful. Also for economy, that's not bad to have animal husbandry and more production early on. Really good. Rome, decent. It has a really strong legion, just a swordsman replacement. If you have iron, you make good use of that. The ballista is okay. It's okay. It's a catapult a little bit stronger. It's okay. Usually I still prefer composites, but it's okay. You can build a few of those. And 25% production towards any building that already exists in the capital. So if you go for wonder spam, you will not make much of these take much out of these benefits, because you will build certain buildings in your cities before you do it in your capital. But if you don't, then you will have every building first in your capital, so the other cities can catch up quicker. So this is nice, but it is not game changing. It's just nice. Germany is okay. To get few free units out of barbarian camps early on, can give you a few additional units. Can be useful if you're planning on early aggression, but it's nothing in comparison to the Huns. Their tank comes super late, is pretty much useless. I mean, it's stronger than the tank, but that it replaces. But if you need to use tanks in your game, then you do something wrong. The Hanse, a bank replacement, is actually pretty damn good. Plus 5% production for each trade route you have with a city-state. This means you want to send a few internal trade routes, maybe for growth, but a bit later on you want trade routes from your capital to go to city-state. So your capital will have maybe 20% more production just because you have 4 trade routes to city-states. That's really nice. And you also get a few more extra bucks out of it. But in comparison to the Huns, it's also made for military and production, but the Huns are just better in it. The Celts, extremely powerful civilization. Just the fact that you start close to forests and get 1 faith from the very beginning means you will be 99% of the times the first to found the Pantheon. And to be the first to found the Pantheon will mean you will have good chances to get an early religion, which is extremely powerful, like we see in my quick tutorial. The Pictish warrior is okay, he's not so much relevant, but you can make use of him. The Celibate Hall is actually pretty good, comes a little bit late, but 3 happiness in every city that you would not get otherwise. That's actually really good. This means every city you build can grow 3 population more than for other civilizations. So the Celts are really damn powerful. Poland, most probably the most powerful civilization of them all. Just because a free social policy when you advance the next era. This means when you get to the classical, first free social policy. So you will feel tradition or liberty or whatever you pick faster out. Then medieval, which is also early enough. Another free policy. Renaissance, another free policy. That's 3 policies for free. Just for free. Usually you take between 10 and 20 turns for a policy. This means you save up between 30 and 60 turns of waiting for policies. That is incredible. And also this snowballs ahead because a policy usually gives you other benefits. Let's say you get 14 turns earlier the food from the tradition, from a certain tradition policy, then this means you will get 14 turns earlier more food for your capital, which means you, over these 14 turns another person had to wait, you can actually already grow your capital, which means your capital will have more food, more production, more science, so you advance faster in tech, you may get earlier other culture buildings, which means you will get the next policies even earlier. That's incredibly powerful. The unit is a lancer. Lances are rarely used, but it is the very best lancer in the game. The ducal stable is actually really good if you have many pastures, because it doesn't only give production from every pasture, but also 1 gold. So, like a stable that gives you some more gold. That's good. And the 15 experience for mounted units is useful, not so relevant, but if you want to build a few hussars because you want to make some conquest, why not? Russia, a really powerful early game civilization if you do not get a very bad tundra start. But if you restart a few times, you may get an extremely good start, because the 1 production from horse and iron. Horse and iron you can discover so early, and if you're lucky you have several of them in your city, which means just flat out more production from very early on. After 8 turns on standard speed you will have discovered horses and you can already work them. So after 8 turns you get 1 or 2 free production for your city. That can snowball hard away. So that's really useful. The Cossacks is again a cavalry. It's a quite strong cavalry, but since it's a cavalry you will not make much use of that. And the Krepos is also not really relevant. It's a barracks replacement. New tiles, yeah, it's okay-ish, but not so. It's okay. Also, double the quantity can be really good if you want to build several swordsmen. Persia is decent. Longer Golden Age is actually really good. And +1 movement and combat strength during Golden Age is also really good if you can make use of it. If you plan ahead, if you see, okay, I'm close to the next Golden Age, it's about 10 turns, okay, let's get a few military units and prepare for war, and then all your infantry units will have 3 movement instead of 2. That is really useful. And the Golden Age lasts longer, it also means more money and more production. This means your economy is better if you keep your happiness up. Also, their building is really good because it gives 2 free happiness and 1 more gold than usually the bank does. This means again, your cities can all grow 2 population more than they could with other civilizations like the Celts. So it's really good. And Immortal is an early spearman. That's actually a really good early spear. It heals at double rate. That is useful, especially if you are damaged because of barbarians or stuff, or when you are attacking a city and your spearman has to heal up. He will heal at double speed. That's actually helpful. Carthage. Every city gets a free harbor. If you play on a map where you can build many coastal cities, then Carthage is decent. On any other map, it's garbage. Units may cross mountains, really cool, but it's just after the first general is earned. that comes just too late. The African forest elephant is actually really powerful, good in warfare. The king Karem is not relevant at all. Overall it's not a great civilization. Because I mean, free harbor is nice, but yeah, it just means it saves you some turns of production for a harbor. England, if you plan on military advance, great civilization. For economy, pretty boring. Movement for all naval units, great if you plan on naval warfare, like on an islands map, and you build their completely broken and overpowered ships. Yeah, you can, with this ship alone, you can conquer the world on an islands map, on an archipelago map. Because this ship is, if you rush for it, you will usually have it a bit earlier than the AI. And this ship is so super strong. If you have the iron to build several of them before they get to the next battleship, which is the battleship, which takes oil, which is so late in the tech tree, you will have conquered the world. Also, the longbow for land conquest is also really good because it starts with 3 range, which is great. If you can place them on hills and shoot over flat lands, they can shoot 3 tiles ahead. This means, yeah, you can shoot out of safe distance. You can shoot cities down without them actually firing back. This is really damn powerful. But be careful. I mean, you need to place them, and hills still block vision. And the extra spy is of course nice, especially on higher difficulties. Then Venice is, in my opinion, against the AI really strong. Oh, what I did not mention at the beginning of this video, this is all for single player, so not for multiplayer. And that's why Venice is actually pretty damn good, if you have a good starting location. With Venice, if you do not like a starting location, restart. The way Venice works is very special, but it is actually quite good, because Venice gets the double amount of trade routes. This means you will get filthy rich, and as soon as you've bought in your puppeted cities some granaries, you can send food to your capital, which means your capital will grow big and huge, especially on islands maps like archipelago, or maybe even on continents. It can be really damn good. Also, the Great Galleass is stronger than the normal Galleass. That's good for naval conquest. And actually, yeah, conquest is pretty good with Venice, because if you take a city-state with your great merchant, you will not only get the city, you will also get all its units. You can plan with that ahead, because the city-states usually have quite a modern army, which means you can actually go with 2 merchants at the same time. Maybe you save up one for a few turns, and then go to 2 city-states that are close to an enemy you want to take out, take those 2 city-states at the same time, and then you have a huge army all of a sudden, and can take with this army out your enemy. Maybe you need a turn or 2 to upgrade these units you now got, because you're in tech maybe a little bit ahead, but still it means fucking bunch of free units. That's really good. And upgrade units should not be the problem, because of your trade routes. Venice should usually be rich. Then Indonesia, on a Pangaea map, pretty much garbage. On a map like Archipelago, completely overpowered. Because you get 2 unique luxury resources, and these cities can never be raised, which is not so relevant, but the luxury resources means 4 happiness for your 3 first cities that are not in the same continent. So usually in total you just get 12 global happiness more, and because you get 2 of each unique luxuries, it means you can 3 luxuries to trade away that no one has. So people will be willing to trade that, and you can trade it for luxury, so you get even more happiness. That's really damn good on the right map. The swordsman is not really good, especially since it can also get a negative promotion out of the Mystic Blade. It is actually funny to play around, I enjoy it, but is it good? No. I mean, it's a swordsman replacement. Compare it to the Legion, and the Legion is much better than this Grease swordsman ever will be. The Kandi is a garden replacement that gives 2 faith. That's actually cool because this means every of your city will generate 2 more faith, and faith is something you cannot generate that easily with buildings. It's just 1 from the shrine and 2 from the temple, and that's pretty much it, except for wonders. But this also gives them 2 faith for each world religion that is present in your city. So if your neighbors are also have founded religion and they are present somewhat in your cities, you get more faith, even more. So your faith generation with this guy can actually be pretty good. So make sure you found the religion. It will benefit you. And faith generation is always good because later on you will want to buy great people like scientists or engineers. Gandhi, if you have a lot of food and a lot of happiness in your land, then he's really good. Otherwise, he's garbage. Because his cities, when you found them, will make you unhappy. It's so difficult to found several of his cities and keep the happiness up early on, because you need to improve the tiles to actually get the happiness out of the land. But founding cities makes this guy unhappy. While if they get really big, it will equal itself out. Actually, it will be beneficial because you will be less unhappy than others for having a big city. So this is a great tradition, civilization. The elephant is really good because it's a stronger chariot archer with less movement, but who cares about the movement? It has still 3 movement, which is more than normal infantry has, but it is clearly stronger. So yeah, that's a good unit. The Mughal fort is a castle. Castles have no upkeep. It provides later on tourism and early on culture. That's decent. That's useful. So Gandhi is decent. Now let's compare him in decentness with Rome. It's just very different. Rome is like made for liberty, while Gandhi is made for tradition. The Mongols. The Mongols are really good, but just out of one reason. They are good for warfare. And this one reason is the Keshik. It is a knight replacement that has ranged strength. This means this guy can move into enemy territory, shoot at something, and move out. So you can move, shoot at a city, and move away. This means you will never get damage back. If you have several of these Keshiks, you can take out the AI so easily. The AI cannot handle that. Because you move a Keshik in, shoot, you move the Keshik out. You move the next Keshik in, shoot, you move the Keshik out. You move your next Keshik in, shoot, you move the Keshik out. And then the next, you can just cycle through all your Keshiks and beat down, shoot down everything you want. That's really powerful. The rest that he has is not really much relevant. All mounted units plus 1 movement is cool, but yeah, whatever. Sweden, I personally do not like Sweden. 10% boost to great person generation for every friendship. It's okay. If you play a really friendly game and have every AI is your friend, then Sweden is good. Otherwise, it's useless. If you have a lobby with lots of militaristic AIs, Sweden is useless. Their units, I never really use them. Here we have again a Lancer replacement, which is not even that much stronger than a Lancer, so not really relevant. Rifleman replacement, you get so quickly from Rifleman to Infantry, so it's also not relevant because it will be obsolete very soon. Gain 90 influence with a city-state if you give them a great person. 90 influence is a lot, but why should I ever want to gift a great person to a city-state? Are you mad? Don't do that. It's not worth even if it's 90 influence. I mean, a great general will help you in military. A great engineer will give you a free wonder. A great scientist is actually important to have the good science game. Don't do that. Ethiopia, one of the strongest civilizations in the game, comparable with Poland, mostly because of this stele. It is a monument, so which means you can build this building from the very beginning that gives 2 faith. That's more than a shrine. And you still can build a shrine. This means 2 more faith in every of your cities, and especially this early on. If you build a monument right away, you will make like from turn 8 on standard speed, maybe even earlier, depending a little bit on your start. You will generate 2 faith every turn. This means only the Celts are able to found the Pantheon before them. But if the Celts are not in the game and you are Ethiopia, you will be the first to found the Pantheon. So this is really damn good. Also, combat bonus 20% when fighting units from a civilization with more cities than Ethiopia is good on higher difficulty, because on higher difficulty the AI tends to spam cities all over the place, which means they will most probably always have more cities than you. And if not, then at that point you are most probably already strong enough to take out anyone who you want. The Male Safari is a rifleman replacement and therefore not so great. Yeah, that's the weakest part about Ethiopia, but the rest, especially Stele, really damn good. Then Denmark, the Vikings. The Berserker is actually a good unit, which comes at a weird place in the tech tree. The embarkment stuff is not really relevant. It's fun to play around with them, but it's all over a weak civilization. Because all they have is very situational and usually not relevant to the outcome of the game. Arabia, a very damn strong civilization. Because Camel Archer. Camel Archer is used pretty much the exact same way a Keshik is. It has less movement than a Keshik, but more ranged strength. So it will do more damage, less movement, but still, that's really damn good. Also, the market is really good, gives a bit more money, and it provides an extra copy of each improved luxury resource near the city. This means you have a lot more luxuries to trade. With Arabia, you will always be able to trade luxuries for other luxuries or for money, and the AI loves to buy your luxuries. So if you have friends, then you will be rich. If you have enemies, you will just conquer them with the Camel Archer. Also, caravans gain 50% extended range, is really nice. Religion a bit more effectively spread, that's good. So it's really a strong civilization. The Iroquois. This is the weakest civilization in all of them all. This is the most garbage civilization. Their improvement is early on useful, that you can run through forests in your territory and use them for roads. This means you do not need to build full of the roads, so less money upkeep. Okay, but later on when you want to build railroads, you have to build them anyway in the forests, because forests do not count as railroads. So, meh, it is actually an ability that will be later on completely obsolete. The unit is a swordsman replacement that is not stronger than a swordsman. Of course, if there is lots of forest and jungle, it has its use, but otherwise it's just a normal, plain, useless swordsman. And the longhouse is actually worse than the workshop it replaces. Yes, it gives 1 production from each forest, which is nice if you have a few forests, but I usually prefer to chop the forests to spam out the important wonder. But in this case maybe I do not. But the normal workshop gives 10% more production. This does not. So this means the more production you get from forests must be as much as 10% of the whole city. In the late game, this building actually slows you down. The normal workshop would be much better. Early on, it is still not really better than the workshop, maybe as good, but it will be very quickly less good than the workshop. So this civilization is actually less good than a civilization without any special buildings and trades would be. Yeah. Spain. If you find wonders, this is the best civilization in the game. If you do not find wonders, this civilization is complete garbage. If you are lucky to even find El Dorado as first, holy shit, you will win the game. Because you get a gold bonus for discovering a natural wonder. If you're the first to discover the wonder, you get 500 gold. For 500 gold, you can buy a settler on standard speed. Or 2 archers, or a library and a scout or something like that. That's really damn fucking good. If you're not first to discover a wonder, but still discover it, you get 100 gold. So still useful. But imagine you would, if you discover El Dorado as first, you get 1000 gold. 1000 gold, and if you manage to get another wonder to discover first, you will get 1500 in total. I mean, that's incredibly lucky, but I mean, 1500 means you buy 3 settlers damn early on. Usually to discover first the natural wonders means you discover it early on. If you discover a wonder, let's say on turn 7, which is totally possible, it means on turn 7 you will buy already a settler. Imagine a turn 7 a settler. That is so incredibly good. And also the wonders yields that it gives are doubled. This means even the garbage wonders are actually pretty damn good. And the good ones are incredibly amazing. For example, Uluru gives usually 2 food, 6 faith. As Spain, it gives 4 food and 12 faith. If you get the Pantheon from faith from wonders, it will get even 8 faith more. That is ridiculous. That would be 4 food and 20 faith from a single tile. And if you were first to find Uluru, you actually can just buy the settler and send it to the Uluru. This means you will have it very early on. This is just ridiculous if you find the wonder. Of course, you can be very unlucky and all the wonders you find are in city-state territory or just on the other end of the world. Well, no luck then, but if you find, it will be so easy with Spain. The units are both not relevant. Conquistador is a knight that is not stronger than knight and can actually can embark and can settle on another continent, completely useless. At the point you get that unit to another continent, you will know it will already be too late to settle. You will want to settle earlier than that. And the Tercio is a musketman replacement. It is slightly stronger. Yeah, it's better than the musket, that's right. But you do not use muskets all that often. I mean, it's okay. I admit it's okay. But it's not why you play Spain. You play Spain because you were greedy for wonder. Then Polynesia. One of the very best civilizations in the game if you play on Archipelago. If you play on Pangaea, it's pretty much one of the most useless civilizations in the game. Its unit is not really relevant. Enemy units receive minus 10% combat strength, is actually good. It also, they keep that if you upgrade them to swordsmen and so on. So that is good, but it is not generally stronger than a warrior. So, whatever. The +1 side when embarked, and being able to embark from the very beginning is really good on an archipelago, on an islands map, because you can settle actually the other islands without having to research the technologies for that. You can do it from very early on, and you can scout the land all around. That's really damn powerful. And the Maori give actually a lot of culture, which if you have island or at least peninsulas, then they can give a lot of culture. Otherwise, they are pretty much useless. Because if you build them, you want to build a lot of them close to each other or not at all. But it can be a strong cultural sieve, and of course, you being able to settle all the islands before everyone else, that's really good, if it's an islands map. Portugal is pretty bad civilization. You get more money from trade routes in general, which is okay, but I mean, that's all they get, more money, pretty boring in my opinion. That's a caravel replacement that's not so relevant. You can make use of it, but it just makes more money. The Victoria, if you get city-states, you can get a little bit more things from that city-state, but you need to bring a worker there, build that thing, and then then you have a worker far away in the city-state. It's just, the benefits are so minor, and I think it's not a good civilization. It's not a bad civilization because more money is always good, but still there are many other civilizations that are a lot better. Austria is like a Venice that can settle. with less money. But if you actually manage to get a good amount of money, Austria is really good because you just like Venice, you can get city-states, not by conquest, but actually just get those cities the way they are with all the units. But you have to pay money for it. So that's an okay ability. The coffee house is really damn good because it is a windmill that also gives not only production to buildings, but actually 5% production to everything, and 25% great people generation that you would not get otherwise from this building. This means all your cities get 25% more great people. This is really damn good. The hussar is not so relevant. It's again a cavalry, it's good, but whatever. So Austria is really useful. Not super strong, but it is decent. The Aztecs, extremely powerful. Their Jaguars are very good early game units against the AI. They are good at killing barbarians, because if they kill it, they heal themselves for 25 hit points. So you do not have to heal all the time, it's really nice. And also the Aztecs get culture for every enemy unit kill it. This doesn't matter if barbarians or other players or the civilizations units. This means you get benefits out of war. This means you can play a warfare game, but you can also play a growth game, a good tradition game. Because this is a watermill replacement that gives plus 50% food. That is really damn good. This means your cities will grow ridiculously fast. Of course, you need to have a river or a lake to be able to build that. But still, if you manage to build all your cities on rivers and lakes, also get some internal trade routes for more food, your cities will grow ridiculous. If you also manage to get the Temple of Artemis in addition, that's really damn fucking good. Poland, if you plan for the tourism victory, is good. If you do not plan for the tourism victory, is irrelevant. The theming bonus is nice if you have it, if you're good with tourism and stuff, you get an earlier tourism victory of France. The chateaus also help with that, because their culture, the culture they give will translate later on into tourism. That's nice. The musketeer is actually a lot stronger than the musket many places, but still musketeers are not really the unit that you use for that long. So it's okay-ish for tourism, otherwise pretty garbage. Babylon, one of the strongest civilizations in the game, comparable with Poland. You receive a free great scientist at writing. You can actually get writing in the first 20 turns. This means from, let's say, turn 20 on, you get plus 8 science in your capital. Wow! That alone is already incredibly good. This means you will have the science lead damn early. You will always rush writing. And you get scientists 50% faster. Scientists are the great persons I want the most. And you get them 50% faster. That's a garden and a leaning tower benefit together, and it stacks up with those. So if you get a garden and the leaning tower and the national college, you will get 125% faster great scientists. That is incredibly good. Also, the archers are stronger. That's good. Early on, you will need some archers against barbarians, and you can actually also do some early aggressions with those if you want to. On the other hand, if you fear early aggressions from enemies, the Babylon's walls are actually really good, especially with tradition. You can get them earlier, so that's actually really good. Japan, if you get a shit ton of fish or other coastal resources, Japan is really good. If you do not get that, Japan is useless. The unique units are pretty much useless. The samurai is sadly not really stronger than the longsword, and longsword is a unit that you never use, because you can just research between 8 and 12 turn on standard speech more, and you will already have the musket, which is clearly stronger. So Why even bother with this unit? And it's a melee unit that you usually do not have many of because you use them just to hold a place or take a city. And the 0 comes so late. It is usually not so relevant. It is okay, but it's not much stronger than a fighter, so who cares? But the culture you get from stuff is it's actually nice if you get the resources you get culture from. But overall, not such a great civilization. It's a bad civilization. Then Maya, one of the strongest civilizations in the game, comparable with Poland and Babylon. Why? Two reasons. One, this shrine replacement. Usually a shrine gives one faith and costs one money. This costs one money too, but it gives two faith and two science. Just two flat science this early on in every city you build. That's so completely broken. That is so damn good. Also, and this means also you get early in the religion, because usually you have to wait when you build the shrine at least 10 turns for a pantheon. With this you only have to wait at least 5 turns, so half as much. That's really damn good. And as soon as you got theology, which is okay, it's a medieval tech, you get from time to time a great person, which means you will get one more great engineer and one more great scientist out of that. And also a few other great persons, but especially the engineer and the scientist, they will matter. You will want them early on. That is actually really good. 3 great people is always really damn good. The athlete list is not so relevant. It's just an archer that costs a little bit less production. So it's nice to have, but not game changing. Then the Incas, again a civilization that can be one of the very best if the map is the right. If you have lots of hills and mountains, this improvement will be damn good because it can only be built on a hill, but it gets 1 food additionally for every mountain next to it. I had once a tile with 5 mountains next to it, so it was a 6 food tile. And there is a technology that makes even 7 food out of it. So this is just, if you get the right tiles, you get tiles with a lot of food. Really good. Also, that units ignore terrain cost is really good for warfare, because you can run over hills. Also, your warrior will actually explore the land much faster because he can just run over hills while others are blocked by hills. So this is actually really good civilization if you have a map with lots of hills and mountains. Brazil is a little bit like France. Good for tourism, otherwise not really relevant. When they have a golden age, they make double amount of tourism, which is really good, and they earn great people, great artists, writers, musicians, so the great cultural people faster during golden ages. So if you manage to get a lot of golden ages, that's really cool. So get great artists. Great artists are really great for Brazil. Because great artists can not only make great art, but also give you a golden age, which means you get everything of the other stuff more. Rasenwood Camp comes a little bit late, but still, to have +2 gold and 2 culture from every jungle tile that also gives 2 food and 2 science, that's actually really good. But all in all, it's more of a late game civilization. You will not get any single benefit out of this in your first 50 turns. Most probably not even your first 100 turns on standard speed. But later on, for a tourism victory, it is really good. For any other victory, it is not to recommend. The Shoshone, my favorite civilization in the game, and just as good as Poland or Babylon. Why? First of all, when they found a city, they get a lot more terrain. It's around 8 additional tiles usually. This is amazing. This means you do not have to buy tiles that are important for you. This means if you forward settle someone and would like to snatch a few tiles to get them immediately before the enemy takes it, you don't need to do that with the Shoshone because you get it. You just get it. That's really good. Also, this Pathfinder replaces the Scout, and you start with such a unit instead of a warrior. And this guy, when you get a ruin, you do not get just a random ruin. You get to decide what you get. This means you usually get population, culture, population, a technology, a unit upgrade. I will never get useless map or barbarian ruins. I will always get the really good damn ruins. And I can also plan a little bit, because I mean, I know when I see, oh, there is a ruin, and I see, okay, my city grows in 2 turns, okay, then I will not take population, then I will go take the ruin and take maybe culture or something. So you can really plan your early game really well. And just the fact that you can decide what your ruin is, and you will never get useless ruins, makes your early game a lot stronger. This is actually really damn powerful. Again, their Comanche Rider replaces the cavalry. It is actually really pretty damn good cavalry, but like I said, always cavalry is not the most important unit. But still, just this scout makes them one of the strongest civilizations of all time. Egypt, amazing if you have a good production and food start where you can spam wonders, because you will spam wonders 20% faster. Fuck yeah. The Chariot Archer is actually a good unit, but usually you will not play a lot with Chariot Archers. The Burial Tomb is really damn good, because 2 happiness per city you get by building just a temple, and it is also maintenance free, so 2 gold. Yeah, really damn good civilization. Nearly as good as Poland or Babylon or the Shoshone. Ramkamheg, Siam, the elephant is really strong, you can make good use of this. This is a university, so a building you want in every city anyway, and it gives 3 more cultures, so your cities will have at that point 3 more culture, all of them. That's really damn good. And if you manage, let's say he's predesigned to go for patronage, because with patronage helps you to get more city-states allied, and you get actually more out of this city-state. That is really good. Yeah, if you plan a diplomacy victory, he is the #1 civ to go for. He is really strong, comparable with Egypt, not as strong as Babylon or Shoshone or Poland, but it is good. Korea, one of the strongest science civilizations in the game, nearly as strong as Babylon. 2 more science for all specialists. That's good, because you will work specialists. As soon as you have university, it means your city makes 4 more scientists, period, because you will work these 2 specialists. And also for other specialists, so the specialist in the workshop will also give 2 science, so 6 more science. So that's really good. And like I explained in my previous tutorials, flat science gets increased by percentage science. So the National College will make out of these 6 science, 9 science. Really good. Also great percentile improvements. So the academies, when you place a great scientist, will get 2 more science. So you will get, instead of 8 science, we get 10 science. And also there is a tech that improves it, so 12 science. And also there is in the vote, the World Congress is also a policy that will give you more science from that, so 14. You can get a ridiculous science output with Zhejiang. Also, every time you build a scientific building or wonder, you get a flat science boost of your in your cities. This means if you build a science wonder or building in your capital, you will just get a few free turns of technology research for once. That's really damn good. Turtle ship, if you plan on naval warfare, this is a decent melee unit. Sadly, it's a melee unit, but 36 strength, that's incredible. The Hwacha is just stronger. Trebuchet, if you plan on warfare, it's useful, otherwise not so relevant. They are okay, but it's not the reason why you play them. Then the Zulus, the whole reason why you play the Zulus is Impis. Impis is the strongest melee unit in the game. If you plan on lots of war, rush to the Impis, build many of them, and take the world. They are really damn strong. Yeah, but that's pretty much all that is about Zulu. Suleiman, useless civilization. The ability is not relevant. The Sipahi is nice, but it's a lancer. I don't care about lancers much, and it's not comparable with the winged hussars of the Poland. So, Janissary is a pretty good musketman that is sadly not stronger than muskets. So, yeah, still it's a musket. So if your best benefit is that you have a bit of a better musket, then you're a garbage civilization. And Suleiman is, I would say, after the Iroquois the worst civilizations. Only the Iroquois worse. Theodora, one more belief when you found a religion. This more belief can be any belief. It can even be a pantheon or an enhancer belief, a follower belief. It can be whatever. That is incredibly strong if you get a religion. On high difficulty, this can be actually a pain in the ass if you get Byzantium but fail on a religion. Ouch! But if you actually get the religion, you will most probably get the strongest religion in the game. Usually you have to go piety with Theodora just to get a religion. Or just try to get an early pantheon and get a pantheon that gives you faith. So you manage to get a religion, or go for Stonehenge or something. Because, yeah, make sure you get a religion. Then this civilization is powerful. The Dromon and the Cataphract are okay. Not super good, not bad. They're okay. America is okay because of this is good. Plus, one side for all land units is actually good because this also means you scout and you warrior. This means you're scouting early on with more vision, means you see more of the land. This means your scout can go more directly to ruins because you will see them earlier. If you move on a hill, you see not only 2 tiles far, but actually 3 tiles far. So it happened to me. I moved on a hill, I saw 2 ruins. I moved to the one ruin. While moving to that ruin, I saw already another ruin. That's amazing. You will get more ruins with America because you see further. But it's a little bit like the weak Shoshone, which is somehow funny. The bomber, not really relevant. I mean, it's good, but it comes late. And the Minuteman is just a little like with the Ottoman, just a little bit better musket man. Not very relevant. The Netherlands, if you get the Desert Star with lots of floodplains, then they are incredibly good. Otherwise, they are pretty much not so good. Because this tile improvement is really good if you have lots of marsh or lots of floodplains, and the floodplains are always in desert. So if you get cities that can build those, the Netherlands are really good. If not, then they are not. The Sea Beggar, meh, not relevant. That you get half of the happiness means you can actually trade away your last luxury resource to get another luxury resource, and you will get in total 2 more happiness. That's good, that's useful. It's not super duper good, but it means just you will be more willing to trade away your luxuries, which leads to more money or more happiness, which is okay. China has one of the best ranged units in the game, if not the best ranged unit. And that is the reason #1 to play China. They have the Chokunu, which is actually weaker than the crossbow that it replaces, but it can shoot twice. This means once you have them in place, you can shoot twice at your target. This also means you get a double of experience. I mean, you get experience per shot. This means if you can shoot twice at the target, you get twice the experience. Nice. So, especially if you manage to get the +1 range promotion on them too, then you have a ranged unit that shoots twice as 3 tiles far. That's really damn good. But be careful, since they are a little bit weaker. And Papermaker is a library that doesn't cost money, but actually gives money. So you will have less money problems early on if you spread out your city. That's really good. The rest is just more great generals, which is okay. It's useful, but is it relevant? Most probably not so much. If you plan on warfare with Jokonus, you will get great generals anyway. You will just get it a little bit earlier, which is nice, but compared to some other things, not relevant. So my top, let's count down. My top 10 civilizations are the Huns, the Celts, Poland, the Mongols, if you plan on warfare, Ethiopia, Arabia, Spain, the Aztecs, Babylon, Maya, Inca, Shoshone, Egypt, Korea. Okay, these were now, I think, 12. But these are, in my opinion, the overall best civilizations. Well, let's throw out the Mongols, because they are only good for military, but not otherwise. Because many of these, like the growth benefit, that is always good no matter what victory condition you go. Science, always good no matter what victory condition you go for. Early science and faith, always good. The Ethiopia, the early faith, always good. Spain, I explained why they can be so ridiculous. The more luxuries, more money, the great military units, that's really good. There are civilizations that are extremely powerful. Poland with policies. I mean, social policies are helpful for every victory condition. The free religion you would practically get with the Celts, so powerful. The more production for early on with the Huns, and actually early aggression that it works really damn well with them, so good. These are the creme de la creme of civilizations. So yeah, if you struggle, play one of those, play in Prince, and think about the stuff I said in my previous tutorial videos. And with that, you will be successful in Prince. You will actually be so successful that you may even want to start the next game on higher difficulty. Try that out. So I hope I could help you with my insight, and if you thought this was helpful, then I'm glad I could help. If not, well, then I guess I told you no new things. So yeah, maybe I will make more tutorials in the future. If you want me to explain certain mechanics of the game or just something else about the game, tell me in the comments, and chances are very high that I will actually make a video about it. So see you next time.